I'm just trying to poll everybody.
After this, I have to look at my schedule.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 6 p.m. I would like to call to order the Highland Park City Council in-person and virtual workshop meeting scheduled for Monday, October 16th at 6 p.m. Madam Deputy Clerk, would you please be kind enough to call the roll?
Councilman Ashafi,
Here.
Councilwoman Martin,
Here.
Councilwoman Manica,
Here.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Here.
Council President Thomas.
Here. Thank you very much. For those of you who have had an opportunity to grab one of the agendas from the counter, there are 3 items for this. This is the workshop, a different procedure than the city council meetings. There is no citizens' comments. We will have 3 items on the agenda tonight. That's a presentation by LAD Homes. We will review the proposed new employee handbook. That'll be a discussion primarily among council, or exclusively among council. And then we will review ordinance 208.10 only. And this is regarding the sale of vacant lots, a dialogue between council. That was something that was discussed at the last meeting, and we feel like we should flesh out a clear understanding among our peers on that item. So if we could get the presentation group from LAD Homes to the microphone, please. This is under the office of CED. The rare occasion that I can schedule these workshops, I'd like to try and introduce items of importance to the department heads. This is one that has been going through the machine of the Community and Economic Development Department. We're fortunate enough to have our former CED director here.
Good evening.
Introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Teresa Johnson, of course. Who all doesn't know me? I'm bringing forth a great project that we've been working on. It's the LAD Homes LLC. We did a big presentation on September 7th where we presented to the mayor and administration. And so this project really is a great, I don't think everybody had their presentations, right? We took a tour of the city. The mayor and CD took us on a tour. We picked that area over at Lincoln and Tuxedo. So we're looking at Tuxedo from Lincoln all the way to the lodge. It's like 2 sides of the street. But this one particular side is perfect for this project. We want to build some affordable homes for veterans and whomever want to live there, actually. So, but we did this great presentation. So I have Tomer here. Tomer is from LA, and he presented this great project to us. And I just want Tomer to explain what the project is about. And why do you want to build homes in Highland Park?
So good evening, my name is Tomer. We thought to design modern home for affordable home for veterans and ADA compliant. That was the idea. We tried to find a place to do it. When we came to Detroit first, we bought a few properties in Detroit. Teresa introduced us to Highland Park, what's call it a blank canvas. So we thought it's going to be a good opportunity to build homes in here. And you have the booklets. You can see the layout of them and the design of these homes.
So today we brought by, we have our architect that's here. Of course, we're going local, so we're using Nathan Harvey. We brought him in on the project as well, so.
Ms. Johnson, I put the map up.
Oh, you
on
did?
the,
Okay.
Screen over here. I just wanted to make sure that the people at home, also the people in the audience, can see the area that you're talking about.
Yep, it's right at Lincoln.
So we're talking about from Lincoln
Lincoln all the way to the lodge.
all the way to the lodge. That's
Yeah.
a significant distance. So thank you so much. I wanted to make sure that the people at home had a clear understanding of where the project was actually going to go.
So like the first lot is a
You know what?
state land bank lot. So we're purchasing that lot. We wanted to do like a model home on it first so that. Hmm.
Spec house.
Yeah, so we can see exactly what it'll look like. It's 3 bedrooms. We want to make it affordable to everybody. It's 10 blocks from Boston Edison. The area is great. It's a clean canvas over there. So it's almost, in fact, there's like 9 city lots that's behind the state lot.
Okay.
So we've already mapped out the lots, taken the pictures, ready to purchase. But before we got that far, I wanted to bring it to the city council so that you guys could take a look at it, see if that's something you want in the city. They're beautiful homes. We wanted to do a sample project first so that everybody, people could come by and look at it and see if, just to see what we're building. Then we can get all of this, all of the semantics out of the way. What's it going to take to build a home? We sat in with MCA was at our meeting. We got some pointers on some things that we could do. Some we took out, some we put in. So I just wanted to bring it to you. So before we go any further, we do have the funding. We put that in there. So funding is not an issue. I just wanted to be transparent as to what we want to do in the city. And I think it's a great project. So if you took the time to look at it, is there any questions that you would have for us?
Mr. President, can you put that map up again?
Sure. So I just wanted to, full disclosure, as a student in a development class right now, I love seeing this. The fact that you have your pre-approval letter that shows your funding, it makes it very, very ironclad to be able to see that. Also, the renderings are good to have as well. One question that I would have is, I don't know, but I'm curious, what is the possibility of the projects that you're working on, having a quota of employees from Highland Park? If that's day labor, if it's helpers.
Well, that's the plan. And that's why we're looking for builders as well, but I wanted to make sure our architect was from the city. So I made sure I vetted Mr. Harvey, of course. He does great work. He knows the city. He knows what the expectations are. It's always good to have people in the city that go along with you because, we know how, it's a close-knit city.
Yeah.
So we want to follow all the steps, come before you first. We did our big administration presentation. That was great. But before we wanted to go any further, I wanted to come this way and see what your thoughts was before we move forward, because we do, we have a scheduled meeting for the Planning Commission for November. But I wanted to come this route first to see what your thoughts was.
I can make one reference, and I'm going to turn it over to my colleagues. My wife and I are members of Real Estate Development Association of Detroit. They just held one of their tours yesterday where we toured developments all across the city, down by, she did, I was working, but developments all across the city, including what's going on down at the train station. Within a network of people there is a huge, and when I say huge, it's huge for Detroit, network of emerging developers of color, Black and brown people who are in this space. You just don't know about them because you don't see them. They're kind of under the radar.
Right.
So there is a network available, and they provided a tour around the developments that are happening in Brush Park, that are happening downtown, the things that are along the Greenway. And it just, I wanted to make sure that you knew about that resource. And if you were looking for builders, there is a small cadre of really capable builders. Obviously, with all the cranes swinging, finding labor is hard. If you know anything about developing and building,
Oh, yeah.
the quality labor is always tied up.
We plan to do the same project in Detroit. I wanted to touch base and I want to do it in Highland Park first. I love this city, this community. So I want to do it here first. It's a very likable plan. We've already had the builders out in discussion with the architect. and make sure all our Ts was crossed and all our Is was dotted. Just to make sure this ironclad, we want to make sure that this is gonna work before we start purchasing lots and so forth. So I wanted to bring it this way. See what you thought.
I guess my only other question is how many units total would you like?
How many what?
How many units total?
Actually, we plan to do both sides of that street, but we're gonna start out with 9 lots first. The state being one, that's the first lot on the block. So we've already going through the process with that. And then there's a couple of county lots in between. But we're working with Ty Hinton on that piece as far as purchasing. We've already got our lots already, pictures and everything, but before then we want to, there's a process for that as well. So far as assessments and all of that. So yeah, we're looking at the first 9,
Okay.
but we're gonna phase it out. So, of course, that first phase, we'll do the sample lot with the house on there, let everybody take a look, see what we have to do far as sewage and city stuff.
Okay, thank you, council. Questions for our guest? Yes, ma'am, please, would you?
I have some questions.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the blueprint right here.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of the numbers I cannot see, they're kind of blurry. One thing I do like that I see, because every unit is gonna look like what we see on the, I think is that this second page?
As far as the look, they'll all be 3 bedrooms, but each homeowner would be able to customize their unit however they want, according to how they want to phase it out or price wise. So
Thank
we're
you.
going to start off for sale for three bedrooms, no basement. But we just talked about this earlier today about the diagram. So each unit will typically look the same. Am I right? We want them to look familiar, the same, but you might want something different or something added, so that's why we're going to do the sample. So you can come in and take a look. And if you want 2 bedrooms or if you want 3 bedrooms, we're going to be able to customize those units the way the person would want it. But it's going to come with, 3 bedrooms. And then if it's handicap accessible, we do those too. We really venturing off to more so like for veterans.
Right.
We're making them affordable for everybody.
And so that's the piece I really like a lot. I like how the counters are low for anybody who's in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. My next question would be, I'm not sure if I'm looking at like each door. Is that 5 or is that 3? Or I can't read.
Standard.
It's probably 3.
Probably 3. Okay, and is that the average like doorway?
For an ADS accessible unit, yes.
It is. Okay, and then I'm assuming it's a slide, right? There's a sliding door that's connected to the living room? No, yes?
She's got to be on the.
Living
yeah,
room,
the land
that's
base.
probably a
A window?
picture window, yes.
Okay, so there's no way to get into the living room. So they were entered through, because the one's a 2-bedroom, one's a 3-bedroom, correct?
You have an entry from the garage and entry from the main entry.
Okay.
So 2 entries,
Okay, got it. And that's both units.
both units.
Okay.
And on there, I don't think it shows we want to do the garages, attached garages, where you can enter from the front.
Okay.
So that's what we decided today. Instead of doing just the breezeway, we'll do a single unit, 1-car garage
Okay.
entrance from the front.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
ma'am.
Councilwoman Amanda?
Couple of questions. One, if I look at that picture and then I look at the one she's looking at, I feel like there's two different shapes.
It is. It is.
You're giving me a blueprint of the inside of something different than what I'm looking at the bottom.
I'll let you take that one. I'm not. I'm not the architect.
Ms. Manica, we are at the beginning stages of this project, and Tomer has done this in California already. These are things that he's done there. We haven't even determined what our lot width is going to be.
Right.
And that's going to determine what the width of the house is, which I can tell you is not going to be as wide as those houses in that booklet.
Right.
Same square footage, about around 1,300, 3 bedrooms, attached single car garage. That we know for sure. But whether it's going to be configured exactly like that, probably not.
Those are rendering with the stuff we done in specific, for specific customers and in specific areas. So we just got the ideas, what the vision is.
Not,
So I'm
and
looking at-
Tomer does want to do a contemporary style home. So
Yeah,
this is pretty, style wise, this is pretty accurate.
Okay, so Tomer,
yes.
I'm looking at pictures of what area, where did you do this at?
This is, well, the blueprints you
No.
see in the
What
booklet.
I'm looking at on there, where is that at?
This is LA.
That's in LA. Okay, did you go look at the land that Miss Teresa is talking about?
Yes.
What would you suggest there? Would you suggest that style or what I'm looking at here?
Well,
They're the
there is
same.
Few sizes, the ones we looked at, there is lots of wider, some of them are narrower. So that's what we were sitting today to discuss.
So if I came and then Ms. Martin came, I can get maybe the wide one, she can get the skinny one.
See, it's gonna vary, and that's why we wanted, you gotta take at least 12 feet to put the garage there. So by the lot being longer, it's either take up some of the backyard space or the front. So today we decided we'll do the garages in the front versus having to pave all the way to the back. You can hit your garage in the front, walk through the house, and it still would be enough width for the actual house.
Okay, so I don't want to take the cart before the horse. So I heard you say also about property. So if you build a sample, and is that sample before we say yes or after we say yes?
Oh, obviously it's gonna be after.
Just checking.
I need you to say yes.
Because you buying the property before we say yes.
We only bought a state land bank. We haven't bought any city. I'm ready. I got all my apps ready for the city.
We'll have one of those questions ready too.
Exactly. So that's why I got them all ready. All I gotta do is turn them in and finish up the folders. But I wanted to make sure, you guys, this is something that you wanted before we start doing anything.
And that's why you came to a workshop first.
Exactly. I wanted to get it out, I wanted to get the nod
I see you, Madam
continue.
Let's see.
If I looked you up, how would I find you on Google or internet? Because what I find, it sends me a little bit out of the norm. So I kind of figured it was LA or somewhere, what I'm looking at. And so.
She wants your website in California.
Yeah, we don't have a website. We didn't directly for the customers, so we don't have a website. Our business is referral based on.
Referral based only. I'm not sure what that means when it comes to buildings, and someone would have to let me know what that comes to.
That means you're doing so well that you only do bill for people who can find you, for the most part. To be honest, I know, right?
Are you the CEO? Are you the owner of
No,
this
I'm
business?
not the CEO. My wife.
Your wife is.
Smart
That is
man,
good. I know.
It's a family business,
smart man.
Everybody back here is raising. their hand.
family business.
Okay, and you guys live in California?
Yes.
But they are planning to move to Highland Park though. So that's the plan. We want to have more residents in Highland Park. So we want to have some affordable homes and opportunity.
What amount right now kind of sounds affordable for people that live in Highland Park?
The thing is, we want to attract new people as well. So, we're gonna have some low income opportunities as well, but starting base 100,000 and up. A good one of these $150,000. It's the last block in Highland Park, 10 blocks from Boston Edison. You know, when we did the master plan a while back, you know, the vision was to come up Hamilton from Boston Edison with a different view. You know, we have two good, you know, areas. That area over there was like a blank canvas. But when you come up Hamilton, you want to say, wow, you know what I'm saying? So that area over there is nice and ripe, you know, is great. You know, why not have a community over there with some nice houses ranging, I mean, 2 blocks up, you know, the house is gonna be 200,000, you know, so we wanna have some $150,000 houses and up.
Well, the other thing is that, I'm sorry, Pro Tem, is that you said 100,000, 150,000. That's not affordable for this area currently. But here's the other thing. How are you gonna make it attractive to people to come in that area, considering where you're.
When they see that model, they're gonna want to come to that area.
So I know where some houses or apartments, whatever, this style right here,
Mhm.
it exists, and I've seen it recently. But what happened, they end up building a wall to separate.
Nah,
I'm just.
we're not looking to separate. We're not looking to separate. We looking to merge in. We want to build a whole area.
No, the separation was from the expressway.
Oh, okay.
So,
Separation was from the expressway.
No, we're not looking to separate anything. We want it to be beautiful over there. You know what I'm saying? So we want to build a quality home that people can buy. You know what I'm saying? So it's that time.
let me interject something here if I could. I just pulled up the census data for our area. This is a 3-mile radius around the city of Highland Park. And I get the idea of having affordable housing, but if we look at the median income for our area, we'll have it here shortly. Okay. Range from 150,000 down to 80,000. So what Highland Park has disproportionately is low-income residents, not bad people, just low-income residents. If you go right across Woodward to Huntington Woods, or if you go to Royal Oak, or if you go to Warren, the strata of income changes. So communities like Warren, for example, Warren has poor neighborhoods, has very poor neighborhoods with trailer parks, but it also has some neighborhoods where the average price of homes is $250,000 a year. And a healthy community should have that. We have most of the housing at Manchester Place, at the Gabriels, at Bishop Moore, at all of these senior facilities. That's low-income housing. So we have a heavy tilt towards the population that can't afford to help us with our tax base. We do need individuals who want to live in houses like the ones that we see there, because their tax base undergirds the support system that we need for our city. So the majority of Highland Park, with the exception of our historic districts, is low-income housing. Everybody's seen that burnt Band-Aid over there between 6 Mile and Oakland and over near Church Street. We saw what happened there with 20 years of somebody trying to do low-income housing. It's a scar on the community.
Right.
So we do have to build, particularly in that district of Hamilton. There's a development going at Herman Kiefer. Those apartments are going to be $170,000 a year. The condos in the 300s. You have right across Hamilton and 6 Mile, house just sold for $2.5 million. And that's only because it was available. Most people are not selling their houses. And if they did, they would go for astronomical prices. So as that middle, we're the donut hole. We have to start to have more attractive.
Even with that, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. This is a dialogue.
Even with that, you can't come in and say it's gonna be affordable housing and then tell me I gotta pay 150,000.
For some, I know that, not for us, but for some people, that is affordable housing.
100,000 is affordable.
Yeah, when there's a thing called average median income. I'm sorry. What is it compared to? So this is just Wayne County. This statistic I had sent to me was specifically for the area around Wayne County, for my own property. So that's what I asked for, census data for this area,
Right.
because I was interested in what it looked like as we had this discussion. And so we do need to stratify, because the historic homes right now, those homes that were purchased for 30, 40, 50, 60,000, they're selling for $300,000 on the upper end. The average one of those homes in the historic district, Southeast Heights, or up in the Moss area, those homes are selling for bungalows, 1,900 square feet. They're selling for $150,000 to $200,000. And so that's what we have. We have very high priced structured homes and then we have affordable housing, the new housing has to be able to draw both people.
And just to add,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, they did the
Pro Tem, I
same
see you,
project
Mr.
in
Consent.
New Orleans, in the 9th Ward. It was a devastation. They built these same type of houses. Now the market value is way up. You know what I'm saying? So, what are we looking at?
Just so that everybody know, Madam Pro Tem had a question. I want to get her to address.
6 months? For the 6 months?
Okay, Madam Pro Tem, I see you, Mr. Ashafi.
Mr. Nathan Harvey. When was your last development and what was it?
Residential,
Give me both.
personally, I haven't done any development, personally. As an architect, the last residential project I did was completely different. I helped draw a condominium development in Birmingham. In fact, I did 2 of those. But those units were $2 million and up, not particularly relative to what's going to be happening here. I honestly can't recall
I
right
see.
now what the last multifamily development I did was, and single family, I've got a house going up in Novi, which is, 5,500 square feet, which is not representative of this. And that's all I can recall right now.
That's a lot. That's a
Well,
lot. Mr.
I'm a generalist, so I'm not gonna have a lot of the same kinds of projects and come to you with that kind of project. That's just not what I do. I do all kinds of different things, so.
All right, Mr. Did I answer your question, Madam Pro Tem?
Good.
Mr. Ashafi?
Okay, so I would like for everybody to take a moment to remember the group of people that you're talking to, because I'm amongst that group of people. And when I hear, not saying I heard it from you, but when I hear disparaging comments about low-income people, I'm a low-income person. That concerns me. I live here, been here a long time. This city has made me in a way that I could never repay it. So I'm doing my best to try to do as much as I can for the city of Highland Park. But Highland Parkers don't like to hear disparaging remarks. There are means and ways in which to include low-income people into your particular development. And one of the ways that you can do that is you may want to look at some federal funding where you could set aside a certain amount of housing to accommodate low-income families. Now, that would appeal to Highland Parkers, okay? But to simply say that it's at $100,000, that's literally like 85% of this city has just been cut out of the picture. Okay, so we have to think about a way to incorporate both. Okay, I'm part of that low income. I'm not middle class. I'm low income. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not upper middle class. So we have to be careful about that. And we have to make sure that when we're developing this, I like the design. I like what's going on here. I want the tone to be in a way where the people of Highland Park is willing to accept. Okay. Because we had a couple of people who came through here. Well, we're just going to have a move. We'll throw on some money and move them out of that area. Highland Parkers don't want to hear that.
That's not our
No.
intentions. You know, that's not our
I know it's
And
not
let me
your
jump in here and say this right quick. Again, there is a parking lot full of cars out there. There are economy cars, there are family cars, there are
Exactly.
minivans, there are pickup truck, and there are
That's not
luxury
our
vehicles.
intention.
And no
I'm
one
not
ever
saying
said that.
at all. I'm
Yeah.
just saying
ever said
that when you're bringing this to the public, which you're definitely going to have to do,
Mhm.
we want to
And of
watch
course,
those
we're
kind
gonna
of
add that
tones.
piece in. It's
Mhm.
just, this is just the beginning stages, but we're not gonna eliminate that piece, because we discussed that before.
Yeah.
That's gonna be added in there as well. It's just, we only got so many minutes to
Okay.
get this to you, but,
Mhm.
and that's why explain it earlier.
That's right.
Prior to, but
That's right.
that's the plan. We're not gonna, we wanna have something for everybody.
Okay.
And that's the plan.
Okay,
We
that's
we
good.
don't want to leave anybody out. We want to include everybody.
We
Yeah.
actually discussed it today.
Okay.
about it. So just for me to understand your vision, what's the percentage you think
Mhm.
will be sound
For that.
Mhm.
for that? What do you think is supposed to be the percentage of that project need to be allocated for low income?
Well, I'm sure that there's a standard practice.
It's gonna be
Commissioner
based
is
off our
80-20.
federal funding.
Yeah.
Right,
Which
exactly.
it could be 10%, it could be 20%.
Exactly.
So
It's
it's on our
usually-
list,
Right, it's usually around about 10%.
10%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we
It
may
is
go
usually
up
around
to
about
20%.
Yeah,
That's something that we've discussed
Yeah.
already.
yeah.
So we want to make it affordable and nice for everybody.
Okay.
Have a
Okay,
little bit
so-
of everything.
So
Okay,
city council,
alright.
we are, one second here. We are over, I allocated 20 minutes for each of these. I knew this was going to be important.
Mhm.
So I let the clock tick. We're at 28 minutes. So we have two other topics that we're going to divide 10 minutes each.
And then I need at least,
You got to do it in a minute.
Let me ask this real quick though.
Please, you got a minute.
How does the effect of, if I'm looking at the spot that you're talking about,
Mhm.
across is the federal building where we have seniors and people that have SSI. I'm not sure where you are. You're not on Glendale. Oh,
No,
we're on
Lincoln.
Tuxedo.
Lincoln and Tuxedo.
Got you. Okay.
Right, because I was gonna say, ain't no.
Yeah, I
Down
had to
Lincoln
think.
Tuxedo.
I'm thinking in the wrong spot.
Okay.
I like the houses though, but I just.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, colleagues. Like I said, I don't often have an opportunity to be even available for a workshop, but when we get business handled.
So
we
would
get
this
things out there.
be, I know this is just simply a discussion, but would you,
We've all had a chance to meet you.
Okay.
There's no excuse for us to say we haven't communicated with you and we have a channel
Exactly.
open for you to provide information to members of city council.
Yes.
You can caucus with any of the members of city council, provide them information, meet with them in pairs
gotcha,
and move forward.
okay,
All right. That way they can
Thank
answer
you.
those questions
All right.
in some
Have a
detail.
lovely day.
can I get 5 more minutes?
No, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Okay, so we are at 30 minutes past the hour, so we got the employee handbook that's in front of us. I wanted to have this come back to council because there were too many questions about that. There's a lot I didn't know about this employee handbook. If you will, I'll take a copy, please.
Okay.
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 Cool.
5 minutes, 5
Notice
minutes.
that.
Oh, Teresa,
This just 5 minutes.
you get a minute.
No, I have to. It's just
Come on.
it's just 5 minutes. Just give me a second.
You get a minute.
I know, this
We-
is
this is related to ordinance.
this one's really
You
important.
gotta talk. You got a minute.
Okay, Woodward and Victor,
Thank
we got a nice project here, right? It's contingent on the lot that's behind it. Perry, switch to the, we're gonna run this through. I just want the council to understand, it's a city lot. It's contingent, it's, the owner at Crescent is at the beauty supply. He's on one side and this is on the other side. The lot in the back is very contingent on this project. So I just want y'all to read the literature and think about it,
Okay, thank you so much.
okay?
All right,
You got the literature.
all right.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about that, John.
Evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So just a couple of things I'm going to touch on before I answer any questions. So the city's current handbook is dated 2004.
Mhm.
Okay. Councilman Ashaki, you had asked a very fair question about why I didn't redline this. Basically, I just started over. I mean, it would have been a sea of red. It would have been impossible. It would have been hard to follow. Some things that the current handbook doesn't have. The Family Medical Leave Act is way out of date.
Mhm.
There's there's nothing about the use of marijuana by city employees. The harassment, discrimination harassment is wholly insufficient. There's nothing about IT. Okay, that's a big deal today. There's nothing about IT. There's nothing about social media. There's nothing about, the Family Medical now requires a section regarding breastfeeding and the availability for employees to have an area to breastfeed. And so I've crafted dozens and dozens of these. This is a format that I've used for a lot of my other communities. This has really been in the works for some time. If and when council approves, the plan will be to train the city employees on the handbook so that they're aware of it, so that they understand it. A few other points. This doesn't deal with benefits. Someone asked a question about retiree benefits. This doesn't deal with benefits at all. And in fact, if you look at the introduction or in there, it talks about that if there's any conflict between the handbook and the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA controls. So and the union contracts deal with sick leave and vacation time and bereavement leave and PTO and pay and healthcare, all of that. This is intended to update the city in terms of compliance with state and federal laws, things that we have to have, things that we have to, quite frankly, we have to follow anyways. But as your legal advisor, this update is way overdue. And so I would ask, and I know it was on the agenda, got pulled, and I can respect that. It's back on the agenda today. I don't know if council's going to move forward on it or not. I would hope that you do, so that we can get this provided to the employees. We can train them on it, and we can make sure that we're fully compliant in terms of compliance with these laws. So I just want to give that brief introduction, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
I got a question for you, John. This came to us through emergency financial management.
That's right.
So this is, in essence, it came as an ordinance.
I don't know. No, I don't think that's I don't think that's accurate. There was she signed a directive.
Okay.
I don't know if that's technically an ordinance.
And
but that was under an old act. That was under Public Act 72, which has been repealed by Public Act 4 and then by Public Act 436. So we're two revolutions beyond when that was signed.
So let's assume that it came through as an ordinance. The proper thing would be to do, since it's outdated, is to rescind this, right?
Yes.
And then bring forward the new and improved copy of the handbook, which can be a handbook. Does it have to be an ordinance?
No,
my understanding
it's
doesn't have
it's
to.
not. It's
So
no intention. And in fact, the resolution that I presented actually does have the two-step. It does have the rescinding of the 04 and the approval of the 2023.
Okay.
It's all part of the resolution that should be in your packets for today evening. Yes, sir.
Mr. Sharpe, go ahead, please.
Okay, Council President, you are correct. This is called Directive 91. It must be rescinded, but there is an additional step that must happen. Seeing as how we are still under neutral evaluation, your handbook actually needs to go to the state for language approval first, and then come back to council for approval itself. So it's actually got to go to the state.
No, that's not true.
I don't think it's accurate.
I'm being told that's exactly what needs to happen.
Whoever talking in your ear is not here. These two people
Neutral
are.
evaluation was a 90-day period back in 2014. That ended, that's done, it's over. You're not under the state at all.
At all.
At
So
all.
all that's lifted.
All of that's lived in
Okay.
right now, although you have a 436 request and we're trying to negotiate our way with the settlement with Lewa now, but you're not under, the only thing that's in place here is the emergency loan agreement from 2014. That's
Okay.
it.
Okay, and that doesn't hinder us in any shape, form, or fashion.
No, that doesn't hinder you at all.
Okay.
The only thing that, I see this as rescinding, adopting a policy, a city policy.
Mhm.
And the main reason why you want to do it is because you have audit findings every year. So the audit has started now, and the auditor comes in and they make sure you have your rules and all of the policies and procedures in place.
Okay,
And so this has been an audit finding forever.
okay.
But rescinding it and then adopting it as a city policy is the appropriate thing to do.
Okay. So I noticed that this is extremely more girthy than the original.
Did you say that there were things added like IT, sexual harassment, social media? That's
All right.
pages and pages of legal.
Yes.
records.
Okay, so what I'm wondering is, okay, so we got the old and the new. Okay, is this the new?
That's the old.
Okay, this is the old.
Yeah, the date's up on
This
the
is the
right-hand
new.
corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so is it a possibility that we can get a time set aside for council to actually go through this before council approves it? I mean, this is very thick. And you know, I do wish to compare the old to the new. If you guys can give us a day or two to actually sit down in a workshop or some of that nature, to simply just go through it and discuss it. You know, if you have time to do that.
That's what I thought today, but that's
Okay.
why we set up a
That's why we're
workshop
here today, pretty much.
Okay, but
Pretty much.
but you have allotted 20 minutes, Council President.
Sure
There's
did.
no way that we're gonna get through this in 20 minutes.
Well, I mean, we could read the whole ordinance book in 3 days.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's about-
Absolutely. See,
What is that,
see, you know,
1,500 pages, 3,000
sir.
double sided?
see, Council President, that doesn't help us. Okay, that really doesn't help us.
I'm just saying. I'm
Okay,
just-
I mean
I'm
no
making-
harm,
I'm
I
taking-
mean no disrespect.
I'm taking.
That
I'm
was
taking the light.
clearly unnecessary.
No, is it not really? We've had.
It was
some levity
clearly
from
unnecessary.
Councilwoman Manica. We've
Always.
had some levity from Councilwoman Martin.
It was a clear-cut jab at Pro
Always.
Tem Robertson.
I'm repeating what was said here,
I
John.
understand it, but that was unnecessary.
Okay. let's
But
go
you
forward.
want us to vote on it. See what I'm talking about?
We're not voting on this right now. We're just having a workshop on it. It's being explained to us.
It's on the
what's
agenda
actually
for
going on.
tonight, though.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Exactly. So again, I'm asking the question, there's no way that we're gonna get through this in 20 minutes. The jab in which you made was unnecessary and uncalled for. Actually, it was quite childish,
Amen.
Council President.
between him and God.
So,
let's move forward with
If
this. So
you
we
have
any
an
additional questions
opportunity-
for John?
Mr. John,
Yes, sir.
Clark, if you have an opportunity, if we could set aside a day to go through this, I would greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, I'm not inclined to be in favor of the changes. Because you're asking us to approve something in which we clearly haven't read. We haven't compared the two books. You're asking us to approve something, and this is a problem with being the authorizers of something. We get information at the last minute, no time to really discuss it, no time to really sit down and hashtag things out like would have been done in a workshop, which is where this should have been. In a full workshop, not 20 minutes. It's just helpful for us to know what we're signing off on, because there's no telling what's in here.
This is the same document that I provided to council a month ago.
I understand it.
Thank you for saying that, sir.
I understand.
Thank you for saying that.
Excuse me.
I didn't want to be one to
Excuse
say.
me.
We've had it for a month.
Nothing's
Oh, okay,
changed.
okay.
We've had it
but-
for a month.
But a month ago, we didn't have the old
Yes, we
document
did.
as well. No, we did not.
This
I definitely
Directive
didn't have it.
91 was in our mailbox.
I didn't have the old one. I didn't have the old one to compare.
provided a memo.
So now I have two to compare. I would like a day
Directive
to
91 has been in
compare.
our mailbox for over 2 weeks.
Okay, I would like to have a day to compare.
All right, thank you so much,
I do
John.
have one
Miss
question.
Miss Martin, please, go ahead, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Mr. Clark, who does the handbook applies to? Everybody in administration?
Yes.
City council,
Does not, well,
mayor,
technically it
everybody, or no?
applies to council in terms of the federal the harassment, things
Okay,
like
okay,
that.
okay.
But it applies to the mayor and applies to all city employees.
Oh,
whether-
everybody across the
everybody.
board. So
Yeah.
is it DPW, all of them?
DPW, part-time,
Everybody,
full-time,
okay,
everybody. Yep,
Okay.
everybody. And again, it's not intended to change their benefits or pay. It doesn't affect, like
Pensions.
Lieutenant Edwards, it doesn't affect retirees at all, their
Okay.
benefits. None of that is changed. It's simply so that the city can have a document which is compliant with current law.
Got it. Okay.
And so that's what I want to do. It's been almost 20 years since the last one. And so I thought it was time to update it and working with the administration.
Got
So,
it. Okay.
sure.
Ms. Manica, you have questions?
Yes, question for you.
Okay.
So real quick, there were some circled items. Are those the ones that, did you circle them? Okay, that's okay. I didn't know if you circled them or she
No.
circled them. Okay. My only question is, can't the employee handbook change again? Like if something comes up?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that most companies, if something come up or a new law or DEI, then they just, or something needs to be corrected, it can always be corrected, right? At any time.
Yeah, typically what I would do is I wouldn't come back if there's one here or one there. I would wait until there's an accumulated list so that if we're going to update it, it's not just changing one small section, unless it's obviously vitally
Necessary.
critical for the city and to be compliant. Typically, most changes are more nuanced. And so I would maybe come back in a year or two and say, hey, there's been 4 or 5 things that have changed. This is something that I think council should consider. Here's an updated handbook so that we can remain compliant.
Okay.
But to
Mr.
answer your question, yes, it can be updated. It can be updated as necessary.
Okay, Mr. Shafi, what are some points you would like for us to look at in the handbook? Do you have anything specifically that you want us to go over and look at?
No, Ms. Manica, I just want to know what I'm signing off on, okay?
I'm not-
You're asking me to vote for something that I haven't had an opportunity to read nor compare to the old handbook. Everybody's got all this smart mouth and smart lip, but you want me to
So-
vote for something.
So, okay.
And it
then-
makes no need and no sense to be so disrespectful. I tell you, we can at least have a decent dialogue. I don't care if you don't like me. I get that part. I don't like you either. We're good. Okay, but we can at least show each other common respect sitting at this table and handle the city's business in a dignified manner. All of that extra crap he just said was unnecessary.
Absolutely. And as a person
All of that
working
was
three
Hold on,
unnecessary.
jobs,
guys. This
I
is not
can read
point
a
of order
document in a
situation.
month. It's disrespectful to this community. You
Okay.
got that document a month
Again,
ago.
all of that was unnecessary.
It was very necessary.
All of that was unnecessary.
Okay, guys, hello.
Okay, so we're
Hello?
done with, thank you, John, for that.
Any other questions?
Listen, I wasn't complete.
Just
Mr. Shafi,
horrible ass people.
Mr. Shafi.
Yes, ma'am.
You were talking to me. I asked you the question. So I just wanted to know, what did you want the rest of us to take a look at it if you had anything in specific?
I
That was
wanted-
all that I was asking.
All I'm asking for, Ms. Manica, is a day to sit down and actually go through these 2 manuals here that are clearly well past the scope of what the original executive order was. I mean, this is twice the size.
All right, gentlemen and ladies, we are at 45 minutes past the hour. John, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
your
everybody.
diligent
Nice
work.
seeing everybody.
Thank you for getting me that a month ago. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. So we got just about 12 minutes left to review the ordinance. What I wanted to do is make sure as we go through screen share for the citizens who are sitting in the audience. This is, I'm sorry, let's go to our ordinances here. Vacant lots, 20810. In the previous meeting, there was some discussion about the packets that came to city council from the CED office that were somehow in violation of the city ordinance. I'm making sure that this is on the screen for citizens at home to be able to figure out how to go get this. You go to the city website, under the government services, under references, you go to references, you will find the ordinances right there. Once you click on the ordinances, it'll pull up all of the city ordinances. You go to vacant lot sales, that's ordinance 20810, and you will get a PDF of that ordinance right here. So this was at the request of my colleague who suggested that we get this out in the open to have a discussion on what this ordinance actually allows. So ordinance 208, this is an ordinance to amend the Highland Park Administrative Code, chapter 20810 by amending section A, deleting fencing requirements and amending section B by changing will to may, also by adding mayor to section C through I regarding the sale of vacant lots. Whereas the city of Highland Park desires to amend the local ordinance by adopting policies and procedures for the sale of vacant lots. And whereas the city of Highland Park provides that the city council has the authority to enact all ordinances they deem necessary for the safety, order, and good governance of the city and the general welfare of its inhabitants. Now, therefore, the city of Highland Park ordains under 20810 policy for the sale of vacant lots. Where the city vacant lots are no longer required for cooperative or public purposes, except any park and part thereof, except where a park is no longer required under an official master plan. Such vacant lots may be sold or leased upon the affirmative vote of 4 or more members of the city council. It was questioned in the past. We do need 4 votes to sell a lot. The city may sell or lease city-owned vacant lots using one or more of the following methods: public auction, which is legal; negotiated sale, which is legal; listing the real estate listing with the real estate broker pursuant to the guidelines established by the mayor, solicitation of CO bids or RFPs or requests for proposals. In all cases, the mayor may develop the disposition strategies, policies, and procedures to facilitate the sale of city-owned vacant lots. Let's start right there. This is what has happened in the past, and those development applicants have been pushed off of the agenda with the assumption that they have somehow violated this ordinance. Within the rest of the body of the ordinance, as we were told at the last meeting, to read the ordinance and find something wrong with the sale of a vacant lot to, for example, Sepia Coffee. I haven't found that. This is an opportunity for members of council who believe that there was something wrong with that packet to show us here live now in the ordinance what was wrong with that packet, because we sure knocked it off the agenda twice. So there was a lot of discussion on what was wrong. So it's open. Individuals have a copy of the ordinance. Now is your time to tell us what was wrong with those based on 20810. Mr. El-Shafi, please go to the specific line, just like you were in court. Let's go to the line, exact line.
So
please.
first and foremost, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions of 20810.
This
And
is the
each one
version
of
that's
them,
on the city's
and
website.
each one of them
Okay.
reads totally different.
This is the one that's on the city website, so this is the
Okay.
official document.
But if you're going to partially read it, Council President, then it makes no sense.
No, sir. You're asking us to bring up old documents. That's not the current document. You don't show your old driver's license.
There are
You use your
5.
current.
There are 5. I don't know which one of these are current, but anyway,
That's
all
not
of
a good
them,
thing. That's not a good look.
all of them are in
Council
agreement.
President, Council President,
Okay.
wait a minute. Can I,
Would you please, ma'am?
permission to speak, please?
Please, ma'am.
Okay, so the request was by, I believe, Councilwoman Manica to put this on the agenda. At the last meeting, there were some concerns about the way that the property was being sold as relates to vacant lots as well as side lots. The matter was referred to the legal department. George Contis of John Clark's office did submit some information this morning. However, he wanted us to provide some additional information to him, which Adrian, the legal assistant, did do. So we don't have that. But I did speak to Council President earlier today because Mr. Hinton is out sick and his assistant is out sick. Furthermore, Roz in real estate, all of those individuals we would hope would be available for an actual workshop. It's difficult to present everything in 10 minutes or answer questions in 10 minutes or even 20 minutes.
Mhm.
So we need an entire workshop set aside, I believe, to discuss the concerns that Councilman Ashafi had. Some of those have been answered. I'll follow with him later on that. But there's no way that we can get that done in 10 minutes.
Okay.
With you just reading it. And I agree with him. There are different versions of 20810 because it was amended in terms of the charter provision relating to property going to, the auction on an as-needed basis or whether it was a quarterly basis. The charter said a quarterly basis. So there's some things that we need to go through, and we're not going to get through that in 10 minutes, and we're not going to get through it with the two of you going back and forth. So let us set aside some time and we can have a dignified conversation and dialogue to, go through the ordinance in a very constructive manner that will benefit the parties here in terms of understanding as well as benefit the citizens.
Absolutely, total agreement for me. So
I
I'm
am
looking
very
at-
amenable to that,
I'm looking
Mrs. Burton.
at the second meeting in November, so we'll start working on that now.
Yeah.
We have it is 6:54. We've got about 2 minutes left before we adjourn the workshop. Yes, ma'am, please.
I just wanted to say thank you to Ms. Burton.
Very
for that
much.
explanation.
Yeah.
The reason why I brought it forward was for those simple things is that we start working on looking at the ordinance and if there's more than one version or if we need to revise it, delete it, whatever the case is. So this will not be the first and the last. There will be others. Again, thank you, Ms. Burton.
Yes, it was amended, just further point of clarification.
There
It
is-
was amended with the last council, but the one that's on the workshop, on the website I'm not certain that that's the one that was actually amended. So
Okay.
I'll verify that with the city clerk.
Thank
But we
you.
do need to set aside more time than 10 minutes or 20 minutes to discuss this. It is very important. And it's difficult for the administration to move development plans through. And we don't want to keep presenting information, or the mayor doesn't want to keep presenting information that's rejected or plans that are rejected if we, don't have a full understanding and can't get information passed. So
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. So I put up on the screen the city charter. And in the city charter, the word term appears 60 times. And in the city charter, the word workshop does not appear. Can everybody on the screen see that? Can everybody at home see that? In the city charter, the word workshop does not appear at all. It's not in the charter. This is a feature. Thank you very much for the people who helped us with this. This is a feature that has been a part of city council meetings, but it is not in the charter, and we are working through these. I do thank my fellow council people for coming to this workshop. I would like to do more of these. We do have more business to attend to. These were crammed on here because having a conversation with the developer is something that happens at the podium during the meeting. And the developer typically has more knowledge than city council, so it's a struggle every single time. So I'd like to have some development group come to one of our workshops. But if we had to put the whole back half of these meetings between now and December on amending city policies, we haven't even looked at the muni codes. We spent 10 months and we haven't even had an opportunity to deal with the muni codes. And it's not from a lack of effort. It's typically from a lack of understanding and a lack of professionalism.
can I have
Call it what you will.
comment,
Yes,
please, as
please.
relates to community code? First, I think it's important for us to go ahead and get a date for the next workshop. If we could do that.
Yep, I'll do it offline. I like to do everything in writing, you know that. I don't like to do any verbal verbal confirmation, I like to do correspondence.
Okay.
So we will do
have a
that.
We will have another workshop
Yes,
related
ma'am,
to
we
the
will,
property
we will.
ordinance.
And at 6:57, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I will call this workshop meeting adjourned and we will recess before the actual council meeting. Thank you very much.
So community code, yeah, that was something
Yeah, I
that was
mean,
voted
this-
on. Oh, they need a date. We're trying to get a special meeting.
Wednesday.
For that, that's for Thursday. So what's going on?
Wednesday, I said.
Talk to me about it. What do you want to do for, in front of you. I'm going to give you an opportunity to peruse any last minute issues that you have with the agenda. And when you are ready, the chair will entertain a motion on what we do with today's agenda. I would also caution my colleagues, we have been made aware of some issues with items on the agenda. If they wanted to be removed, we would need that activity from the floor.
Motion to approve with amendments.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilman Ashafi to approve the agenda with amendments. Do we have support?
I second.
We have second from Council Pro Tem. Ms. Ashafi, would you please share with us the amendment? the
Yes,
amendments you're proposing?
under legal, I would like to have it removed and placed into a workshop, so we have a day at least to discuss it and go over it.
Okay. As a person who schedules the workshop, the earliest workshop you can get out of me is on November 20th.
That's fine with me, sir.
So we have a motion on the floor from Councilman El Shafi to approve the agenda for today with a single amendment. That amendment is to remove item number 9 under legal, under the premise that this will be added to a workshop meeting. First available would be November the 20th. So far, this is the sole, if this were to go to a workshop, this would be the sole item on that workshop.
Not a problem.
We have support from Council Pro Tem. Any additional questions, or can I take the roll on this?
Yeah. I got a question.
This is related to the approval of the agenda. Ma'am, please. Go right ahead.
We're removing or?
The proposed amendment by Mr. El Shafi is that item 9 be removed from today's agenda. The contingency with his request is that this is moved to its own workshop so it can be discussed at length. All right, Madam Deputy Clerk, would you please call the roll on the approval of the agenda?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes, with the amendments.
Councilwoman Martin, Councilwoman Manica,
No.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes. Next item is the approval of the proposed minutes in-person and virtual regular meeting for October 2nd, 2023. City Council, what is your pleasure on this?
I move to approve the proposed minutes for the in-person and virtual regular meeting, October 2nd, 2023.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes for October 2nd, 2023 from Councilwoman Manica. Do we have support?
Support.
We have support from Councilwoman Martin. Madam Deputy Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the section of our city council that we dedicate the floor to the mayor to have an opportunity to speak to council and the citizens.
That's right there. Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, I'm gonna go over a few things. First, I want to take time, and I see some of them here, to acknowledge the Highland Park water advocates. Went up to Lansing on the 12th and did a great job of conveying the information, the 3 points that they had for the House of Representatives and Senate. They did an awesome job. It was a nice turnout, it was a great rally. And I got some feedback from some of the people who really, really respect the fact that you guys came up. They got some information they was not appreciative of, but others, they were. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge them for their hard work. That's what it takes to get things done, is to make sure that everybody comes together and get to do what's necessary for the city. I want to talk about some questions I had while I was at my meeting this week. at the Dunkin' Donuts. One was about trash and pickup. And yes, we are having a problem. They have done a lot better with coming out and picking up the trash, but we can do better. I am working with them. They appointed a new supervisor, and I'm working with him to make sure that when trash is missed, that they come back. Today, he came back out. They came back out Saturday. They came back out today. For those that's missed, there's some other people that still have not got their trash picked up. So we're talking about that. I have been riding around, checking out places. If I see it, then I call it in. So if you know that your street was not picked up or someone's street was not picked up, please call the city and let us know so that we can get on it. Mr. Reese is getting calls and I get calls. And that way I can call the person that's over our city. We can get that done. One of the other things is, I want to talk about some of the departments and what they've been doing. Our water department engineer, water mains and lead line repairs are ongoing as we receive funds. So they're continuing the process and the progress. Oakland Avenue is open to side streets between Beresford and Tennyson again. Construction will continue on both sides of Oakland until December as weather permits. One reason we are behind is because of the summer weather. There was quite a lot of rain, which puts some of those back. They can't work in the rain. So as days go on, and if it continue to be this kind of weather, of course, you know when it snows, they're not gonna be able to do it. But they were out there this morning at 40-degree weather. So as long as it stays like this, we can continue the process. The 2 lanes is open on both sides. Now, what I have seen is that people are turning the wrong way when they come off of Davidson to go over to the other side, towards North Oakland, instead of going all the way across and turning. They're turning right there at the little spot that's open for them and heading back to the freeway. So the chief is going to make sure that we're looking at that, because that is serious. We want to make sure no one is being ran into on that side. Matter of fact, I noticed it when I was coming, and I saw somebody doing it, and I'm just blowing like you're on the wrong side of the street. So if you see it, please let us know. DTE gas main renewal program. City engineers met with DTE team to begin coordination of proposed 2024 gas main project. DTE plans to install 40 miles of new service and 4,000 services in Highland Park in 2024 construction year. Also, if you have not had them come out, if you received a letter from DTE talking about they need to come in to look at your meter, it is very important that you do that. This is not a scam. Of course, when they come, ask for their badge. But if you do not respond to that letter, they will shut it off until you do. Because it's very important that they inspect your meters to make sure that they're operating correct and whether or not you need an upgrade. So if you receive one of those letters, they've been out now for probably about 2 months, 2 to 3 months. If you did not call and make an appointment, we want you to make an appointment for that inspection. Please do so. They can't ask questions.
There's also a fine that
Yeah.
attached to that. You don't let them come.
Davidson Service Drive, engineering department submitted the final submittal to MDOT. We are awaiting response from MDOT for project obligations. Project is projected to start spring of 24. So there's gonna be a lot of projects going on. You guys, just get ready and be patient. We want Oakland to be smooth, we gotta be patient. We want Davidson Freeway to be smooth, we have to be patient. I got a lot of calls asking, when are they gonna finish this? Well, they gotta finish it when they finish it, they'll let us know. Senior department, Myers trip, grocery runs is going on. Call our senior department to sign up. Request must be made 2 weeks in advance, and the reason of that is because we have to call Smart And Smart only takes, they asked us to give them 2 weeks notice at least in order for them to come out. Individual homes can call as well and will be added to the available dates. Please make sure if you live in a home on the street and you want somebody to come take you to the grocery store, please call our senior department and they will set up the appointments on the days that they are happy. It's 2 days a month. November 15th, Wellness Wednesdays will be at HP Rec Center from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Reserve your seat at the Say Detroit Family Clinic. The number is, ready, 586-345-0225. Specify if you need transportation. They will provide transportation. Okay.
Can you read that number again, please?
Sure. 586-345-0225. Get it?
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
From our PR, YouTube subscriptions have went up. We are continuously asking people to sign up and subscribe to YouTube so you can see all of these meetings. You can see everything that's going on that's being projected on there. Anything that's going on in the city, meetings, events, all of that is on our YouTube channel. That's the City of Highland Park YouTube channel. Okay. Calendar of events are being sent out on a weekly basis, and subscribers of our emails and text to our subscribers and emails and text updates. If you have not sent in your phone number via text message or your email, please make sure you contact our PR department so that you can get all the updates that come out weekly. Social engagements are up, and followers have increased all across the platform. That means on Facebook, that means on Instagram, we have Twitter, all of those social media platforms are being streamed. I know some of us don't have it, and we're working on some other things that we can get out. We're going to be dropping off flyers to all of the complexes, the Gabriel's, all of the senior buildings, all of the Highland Manor, Manchester Place, Benjamin Manor, all of those complexes. We're going to put that information inside of their offices. All right. Fire department, fire prevention, assist with fire prevention presentations at the senior facilities. Fire department is going to be going out and presenting fire prevention to all of those seniors. They're doing their annual hydrant winter preparation. That means all hydrants in the city now they're going around and preparing them for winter. Entering the department fire incidents reports to the state of Michigan. They are completing those. They are sending those in on a regular basis. And the Halloween trunk or treat at the rec center on October 31st. Please, if you would like to join, there's a contest for the best car that's decorated. There'll be a prize for that. If you can't and you want to give out candy or just donate candy to the rec center, please drop it off to Sue. Make sure though, we are not doing any nut products because of allergies. No, that means none of them little Reese cups and any of that other candy that we all like. Okay, it's my face, but unfortunately, we can't put nut products out for kids who might have allergies. And of course, we've been bringing for developments and they've been turned down and looked at. So we want to make sure that we're going to bring them back again, see what's going on with that. Because without a growing city, we won't grow. Without developments, we're going to die. And that's just the bottom line. You can't keep surviving on just the people that's here. If we don't bring new people to the city will continue to just be where it is. So I'm hoping that we can get those things done. We have about 12, I lost 3. People are now a little discouraged at what they're seeing at these meetings. That's just what they told me. Okay, so we're gonna move on. And, interest in city business, members of the city council or any other officer of the city shall adhere to and otherwise follow the requirements of the Contracts of Public Service with Public Entities Act. And that is MCL 15-321 at sequence. You can write that down and look it up. It is a MCL, which is Commission to Compile Laws. So please do. Voting, except otherwise provided by state law, no member of city council shall abstain from voting upon an issue after having had a reasonable opportunity to inform himself upon the particulars and merits thereof, unless excused by a majority of the other members of the city council. You cannot abstain from a vote based on just because you want to. It's right here. So you guys, please, from now on, if you need to make appointments with the, and I'm quite, Council Pro Tem has done that. Ms. Martin has done that. And I really appreciate that, but I want to make sure that all of the members of council know you are not, my city employees are not to meet with you unless you have came through the council, through the mayor, and I can send a legal officer with them to make sure that everything is legal, not only for us, but for you. And that keeps us from being sued. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so this is the part of the meeting where we turn the floor over to citizens to speak on items that are on the agenda. We have item 5, the 30th District Court, the resolution to accept the Michigan Indigent Defense Fund grant. Item 6, under the administration, the resolution to appoint Kwame Powell to the Board of Police and Fire Commissioners. Item 7, under the city clerk, the resolution to approve the early voting plan and establish polling locations for early voting sites within Highland Park for the 2024 election. And item 8, under finance, which is receiving and filing the monthly financial statement. So for those items, if there are citizens who would like to be heard for citizens' participation for 2 minutes on those items, specifically on the agenda, if you need to come to the podium, please do so now. And again, this is for agenda items only.
Council President?
Yes.
I'm getting calls that the video is off.
How?
If Mr. Lackey could take a look at it.
You getting calls? I haven't
Yeah.
seen you use your phone. How you getting calls?
I'm getting calls. I was in the bathroom when I got a call.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow, that's interesting.
Guess you got it.
I'm just saying, you're saying you're getting calls. I mean, we're all here.
He actually it just went back.
Yeah, it's on now,
It's on.
so
Council
I'm
President,
just saying. Yes, sir.
the machine did drop the video call for about.
Okay.
It is.
Sure, I'm just saying, but I'm just responding to, I'm getting calls. Is that not?
But I can't get a call though.
I'm just saying, you said, so let's go right ahead. Let's go right ahead. You had your 2 minutes. Mr. Harvey, please.
Nathan Harvey. Real quick, item 4, the minutes. Something happened last meeting. This is real quick. Councilman Ashafi raised a list of ordinances that were the properties that were on the agenda last council meeting did not meet. I did a little investigation and I was a little frightened. The list of sections he quoted were, to my mind, planning and zoning sections, which are no longer current. And there's a whole another group of sections for planning and zoning. Those were from '84, and these new ones are from 2011. So there's a lot going on with stuff that's being distributed that is not current. And I know this to be true because in the RFP that was issued for the urban planning, those same planning and zoning sections were in that RFP, which were not current. I don't know what to say, but I'm bringing it up because it definitely needs to be addressed.
So that's why we're having those workshops on ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Harvey. Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other citizens who would like to be heard? This is on agenda items only. Okay, seeing none, we will move on to item 5 under 30th District Court. This is a resolution to accept the Indigent Defense Fund grant number E202-40033-00 from the state of Michigan. City Council, what is your pleasure on item 5?
I move to approve the resolution to accept Michigan Indigent Defense Fund grant number E202-40033-00 from the state of Michigan.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Manica for item 5 under 30th District Court. Our motion is to approve the resolution to accept the Indigent Defense Fund grant. Do we have support?
Support with questions.
We have support from Councilman Al-Shafi with questions. Having received support, the floor is open. Mr. Al-Shafi, what is your question?
I'm curious as to what this is going to be used for exactly. I understand it says defense fund. There's somebody here that could give me a quick overview of it.
Permission to be heard?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Burton, please.
So I don't know if the judge is here or anybody from the court. If not, I can answer.
If you would, please.
Please.
I said, if you would, please.
Okay, I didn't know if they were here. I wasn't trying to supersede anyone.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, so the state law requires that we have a Michigan Indigent Defense Commission. There was an act, and that was from 2013, in which we have lawyers. I believe there are 6, perhaps 7 lawyers that represent indigent defendants. And so those defendants have to submit paperwork showing that they're indigent and they benefit from the representation at each of their court proceedings if they qualify.
All right.
And so this is a grant, substantial amount. We just have a match of $13,905.
Yeah, I saw
The
that.
grant is $92,000, but it covers the amount of the 7, I believe it's 6 or 7, might be 7 lawyers that represent those defendants.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Any further questions?
Is that something that's in our budget, Ms. Burton?
Yes, 13,905, that's in the court's budget.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Mrs. Burton. I appreciate you giving me an overview.
You're welcome. Additional questions from council? Madam Deputy Clerk, would you call the roll on item 5, please?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Item 6 under the administration, this is a resolution to appoint Kwame Powell to the Board of Police and Fire Commissioners. Council, what's your pleasure on this item?
Approve with questions.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilman Ashafi to approve item 6 under the administration. That is the appointment of Kwame Powell to the Board of Police and Fire Commissioners. Do we have support?
I support.
We have support from Pro Tem Robinson. Mr. Ashafi, the floor is yours.
Mr. Powell, isn't he a former officer here?
Is Mr. Powell is, he's.
Is
he's
Mr.
here
Powell
now.
present?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Powell, if you would please come to the podium, sir.
Yes.
Would you introduce yourself to us, please?
I am Kwame Powell.
Thank you, sir.
You want me to turn around? Kwame Powell. How you doing, everyone? I'm a citizen of Highland Park since 1987. Graduated Highland Park High School, former Detroit police officer. Current member UAW Board currently now. I have been honored to be part of the Police Commission of the City of Highland Park. And I think any questions that Mr. Shafi have, I'm ready to answer.
Well, you actually answered my second one, which is very important to me, that you're a resident of Highland Park.
Yes, my whole life.
Okay, that's good.
My grandmother purchased a
Okay.
home on Tennyson in 1950s.
Okay.
Still currently own a home in Highland Park.
Nice.
I'm in the community, as most people know. I'm still here. I've been here my whole life.
Okay. Okay. And you never been an officer here before?
No, sir.
Okay, perfect. I'm done, Council President.
All right, do we have any additional questions? Thank you, Mr. Powell.
All right.
Madam Deputy Clerk, would you call the roll on item number 6 under the administration, please?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations, sir. Welcome to the city. All right, item 7, under the city clerk, the resolution to approve the early voting plan and establishing polling locations for early voting sites for the city of Highland Park for the 2024 election cycle. City Council, what is your pleasure on this item? Everyone had an opportunity to read the resolution.
I move to approve the resolution to approve early voting plan and establish polling locations and early voting sites for the city of Highland Park for the 2024 election cycle.
Support from the chair. So we have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Manica to approve the early voting plan and the support on the chair. If there are no questions, we'll go ahead and take the roll. Question from you, Mr. Ashafi.
Are we in line with the state here?
I beg your pardon?
Are we in line with the state and the new rules that the state has set forth?
You mean?
Yeah.
it-
Are
it
we
would
in
be-
compliance, basically?
So specifically, yeah,
Council President,
yes, ma'am.
Council President, this is the
Yes,
clerk.
ma'am, Madam Clerk.
Answer to Councilman Shafi's question, yes, sir, this is per the state.
Perfect.
And there
Thank you, Ms.
is,
Green.
it's a working document, and there'll be more changes coming for the 2024 election cycle.
Thank you so much, Ms. Green.
Additional
welcome.
questions? Hearing none on item 7, we have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Manica to approve the resolution for early voting plan, supported by the chair. If you would be so kind as to call the roll on this, ma'am. For item 7.
Councilman Ashafi,
Absolutely.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yeah.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
No.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you very much. So our last item on the agenda for, please mute your microphone, under item 8, under finance, this is receiving the monthly financial statement provided to us by the finance department. Our action here is to receive and file.
Move to receive and file.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilman Ashafi to receive and file the financial statement for September 2023. Is there support?
Support.
Support from Councilwoman Manica. Would you please call the roll on item 8, madam?
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
No.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
No.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you very much. We will receive and file our receipts from the month of September. Okay, item 9 has been stricken, so now we're gonna move into citizen participation. I'm gonna set your famous timer, and I would ask that the folks who would like to speak, please queue up at the microphone. We will set aside the time that the agenda tells you, plus a little bit extra. So if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, and I will start the timer once you start talking.
Hi, my name is Jamil Edwards, and I'm so glad Attorney John Clark was talking about CBA. I have retired in 2018. I have not received any medical health benefits. I retired with 30 years, and I was supposed to get health benefits for free. Have not received it as of this date. So I would like to know, since this is my second time asking this question, who's going to answer it and when will HR get in contact with me?
Thank you, ma'am. All right, next, please. How are you?
Hello, I'm Charlene Turner Johnson, Highland Park resident of almost 70 years. Here on behalf of the Highland Park Water Advocates to do two things. One is to thank you for your support for the Get on the Bus trip, October 12th. We had a great turnout of about 70 residents who were on the bus and who participated in the rally and who met with about 20 representatives on October 12th. And we want to report to you that the representatives that we met with are very hopeful about the outcome of this $24 million debt that GLEWA alleges Highland Park owes.
All right,
They are very hopeful that the debt will not be placed on our property taxes and that they are meeting and trying to resolve ways that that won't happen. They're looking forward to the results of the mediation, and they say that whenever they get those results, they will then be working on our behalf. They're also looking for a sustainability plan. How will the city sustain itself given the debt will be resolved? How will the city sustain itself? And certainly development is a big part of that. The other thing I wanted to tell you about is what happened on that day. As I said, there were about 70 of us. So we rallied on the steps of the Capitol for about an hour. And in the rally, we had representatives of different folks from Highland Park. Of course, the mayor was there. We had representatives from the city council there. We had school board members there. Solidarity was there. The Block Club Association members were there. The Pastors and Ministers Fellowship were there. Southern Christian Leadership Conference was there. Positively HP, Kim McDade was there. So there was a big turnout of representation from lots of people in Highland Park. And as I said, we met with 20 legislators. I brought the packages that we distributed. For those legislators that we didn't meet with, we were able to distribute these packages, which had talking points, background information about the issue. And I have 2 of them that were at my house. If anybody wants to see them, I'll leave them here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Also, Janet from the school board did a video. So there is a video of the day on the Concerned Citizens Facebook page, so you can check that out. We want to thank people who made donations. The bus was donated. One of the buses was donated by the Detroit People's Water Board. The other bus was paid for by Judge Rich's son, former Judge Claire Rich. Yeah, so those are 2 huge, huge, huge donations. So we just want to leave you with the fact that there were also 500 petitions that were distributed to the legislators. And the meeting we tried to schedule with GLEWA hasn't happened yet. but we're still trying to schedule a meeting with GLEWA to have them come here to Highland Park. They did put information, I'm finishing. They put information on their website about how they have been charging us. So if you want to take a look at that, that would be helpful. So
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Be
Thank you.
encouraged,
Thank you so much.
be encouraged.
Thank you very much. Great job. Great job. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Speed Miller out of Metropolitan Elks Lodge of 962 in Highland Park. I come here today to announce that I've been starting a drum line at Barber Elementary School. We're in the process now of moving the drum line. We're going to move the drum line so we can combine both schools. We want to combine Barber and we want to George Washington Carver. So we're going from now, this point forward, we will be over at the community center. And so I'm bringing now, and we will be there from, I think it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. We'll be there as far as you got any kids that are interested, want to play the drums and stuff like that. This is where our new headquarters is where we're going to be at. So I'm just announcing this here, get the word out. And what we're trying to do is have Highland Park have their own drum line. Consists of all kids in Highland Park.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks for your work.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Let's see if I can go 2 for 2 today. I got swarmed by 4 police officers at the Coleman A. Young Municipal Building for trying to ask Mary Sheffield out on a date. I guess she doesn't date. But I was just wondering if the role of, how you say, a urban planning firm has been filled yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, the offer is still on the table. I will do it for $0 and 0 cents for the next 5 to 10 years, 40 hours a week. That's fine. I went to Wayne State University for urban planning. I went to the University of Minnesota for sustainability. I've been a employee of Nandi's Knowledge Cafe for half a decade now. I may be a little, how you say, lacking in melanin, but I would literally die for every single citizen in this fair city. Let's say there's about 7,500, maybe 8,000. I don't have the current census in front of me, but Highland Park has always been the Black Israel to me, and I'd like to help keep it that way because, well, you know, things just get sold and then it just goes so high up that nobody can buy it. I mean, for example, the blighted, I guess you could call it a side lot next to 1234 Woodward that's had a rusted out, busted up truck laying there since I think I've been alive. They're asking $45,000 for that, and it doesn't come with the truck. What's that about? Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, council. Good evening, citizens of the historic city of Highland Park, Michigan. I just wanted to let everyone know that Parker Village will be holding its 7th annual candy giveaway on Saturday, October 28th. This will go down from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. So we got candy for all the kids. And we also will be giving the parents and adults that show up a free cup of coffee so they can check that out, the Sepia Coffee brand. Wayne Metro will also be there with some resources. So hopefully everybody can come and participate, have a good time, etc. Last but not least, I just wanted to let council and I'll be talking to the police chief pretty soon. Someone has decided to dump a school bus on Tuxedo between 3rd and Hamilton. So if you know, anyone can get that out of there, it'll be a beautiful thing. Anyway, have a beautiful night. No, I don't know what. October 28th. Yeah.
Where?
Sorry, at Parker Village. It's 181 East Buena Vista between Brush and Oakland. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Ms. Fry. I'm at 45 Highland. The person that cleared out 44 Highland and also that other apartment building, they have just dumped their trash. It's like, well, half the block almost, and people are starting to dump there. I've asked several times for it to be removed, and also on the same side of the street as I'm on, and I would want it to be removed before the snow comes. And I hope someone can get that out of there. 44 Highland, and also ticket them. Isn't it their responsibility to remove the debris that they take out of the vacant building? Okay.
Yep.
And also, is Doug Shaw online here?
No, Doug Shaw is a county assessor. We have to bring him in for that. He works for the county.
No, he does assessment. He's a city assessor.
I'm sorry.
The name of the company.
Is Wayne County assessor, but
He's not on the call though.
Oh, okay.
The county's not in the assessing business anymore, but they kind of got the name.
Okay, well, I reported to him more than a month ago. I've been charged for a lot that's is saying it's a house on there, but it's not. And no one, he has not been out to assess it.
Is there,
We'll follow.
yeah,
And I want my
probably a mayor
refunds.
around that.
For the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
thank
you so
y'all.
much, man.
Great meeting.
Good evening, council citizens. My name is Renee Ford. I live on Buena Vista. I have a question, and I'm not sure who this goes to. I have a neighbor that has a bunch of trees or bushes that have grown into trees, and they're hanging over the wire, my cable wire and my electrical wire. So, and DTE came out and said they can't do anything about it because it's on private property. I talked to the homeowner and he said last week he would get to it, but he has not come out yet. So do I take this information to code enforcer and he could ticket them? Because I have a senior that I take care of and we need our electricity come this winter. Last winter, we lost power 3 or 4 times. But because it was private, they said they can't do anything about trimming the trees. So who does that information go to?
Okay, I wrote it down for you, Ms. Ford. I'll try to answer it during council affairs.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional citizens like to be heard?
Yes, good evening, council.
Good
Good evening.
I'm one of the citizens who participated in the bus ride up to Lansing. I stood on the Capitol steps and called Great Lakes Water Authority cowards. They act like they're the victims. I tell you who the victims are. It's the people who pay their water bills faithfully every month. It's the seniors who have owned their houses for the last 30, 40 years. And you talking about putting a lien on their home. Those are the victims. That's what they are, cowards. I said it on the Capitol steps. You guys are cowards. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't see anybody else moving to this podium. Yes, ma'am, if you would, you'll be the last citizen speaking.
I want to let everybody know that we're getting down in the last hour of mediation. Is rough. It's been very rough. And the reason why I haven't said anything prior to this point is because I wouldn't have brought those deals to you. Because they were totally unacceptable. They defied all of our charter, they defied all of our ordinances, they would insult you, and you would set me on fire. I wouldn't have even done it. And so here we are in the 9th hour, and the state told you that they waiting for this mediation. And we're trying to schedule a special meeting. And we have mediation tomorrow and tentatively scheduled for Wednesday morning. If we don't finish tomorrow. And it's been a knockdown, drag out bad. And I just query council to see what their availability is for a special meeting. And I just told the mediator that they're not available for Thursday, because everybody needs to be here. So we're looking at a Wednesday evening. Maybe that's good. So Wednesday meeting, don't take it up. We have a bite at the apple again on Friday, because the state wants it by Friday. And so what's coming before you, for the most part, and we still have to work out some details without me divulging anything. The mediation is confidential mediation, and we have not uttered, in fact, it's been quiet. And it seems like we've been in mediation for years now, because we keep going over the same thing over and over again. And it's my voice, I don't even have a voice. I don't even like to hear my own voice. But that's how much I've been using my voice. I'm tired, and you know how much I love talking. Talking is my favorite thing to do, is talk. And I'm tired of talking. But it's coming, so, look for the special meeting notice and be ready, because we're getting there. All right? We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Square, for my preceptorship in mediation and negotiation. I've never seen her hold a piece of paper. She's a walking encyclopedia. It's frightening for somebody who comes in a room with an armful of notes. It's very impressive, and we are luckier than you know. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now at council affairs. Having closed out citizens' participation, we will turn the floor over to members of city council to address issues in their district or whatever they would like to unburden themselves with. Mr. Al-Shafi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On the 26th of last month, you had an auction. How was that auction? Were you able to participate? Did you even know about it? Show of hands, everybody that knew about the auction, please. All right. Show of hands of everybody who was able to participate in that auction. 2. I've said it once, THP, I'll say it again. I'm not here for show. I'm not here for flash. I'm not here for money. My sole objective is to make sure that we survive. That is my sole objective. I could care less about the rest. I don't need the status. I don't need the money. I don't need your fame and your fortune. You can take it all and shove it. It means nothing to me. What I'm worried about is our survival. Because if you don't survive, I don't survive. That auction started out at $9,000. That was the lowest bid. It was only one house on there that was $2,000, and nobody bidded on that house. But every other house was at $9,000 and up. Who in HP can afford that? It's a very small percentage in this city who can afford that type of auction. That is not the objective of our auction. Our auction is to make it affordable so that you, the residents, can participate along with the outsiders. This was an auction for the outsiders, and they got what they wanted. The problem with that auction, though, is it was illegal. And since it was brought up tonight on the agenda, according to Ordinance 208.10, no property may be sold or put to auction without a majority vote of what? 4. They had a 3 vote. I wrote emails. I personally wrote to the mayor. I personally wrote to the treasurer. I wrote to everybody that what they were doing here was illegal. You heard me speak several times on the auction being illegal, and that they needed to rescind this vote and stop this auction. They went ahead with it anyway. They ripped you off and nobody said boo about it. Nobody said a word. You know what do you know what a Hollywood shuffle is? It's when they tell you, look over there while they're doing something over here. And I'm tired of the misinformation being spread in the city. I'm tired of everybody acting like they don't know something. They know this for a fact. Your mayor wrote this ordinance. Her, Rodney Patrick, Carlton Clyburn, Derek Armstrong, Ken Bates. They wrote this ordinance. This is their ordinance. So they knew very well to take anything to auction required a vote of 4. So now you leave me no other alternative. Since the crime has been committed, I must report it to the state police. And I will do just that. You can't come in here and put your hands in our pocket, in HP pocket, and take from us and think we're going to tolerate that and sit down and accept it. I don't care what's going on. That auction should have been fair. It should have been at a reasonable price. You could have started the auction off at 500. And if it got up to 2,000, 9,000, that's one thing. But you started off at $9,000. That's 90% of this city who was unable to participate. How many of you got $9,000 floating around in your house that you just put on an auction all willy-nilly? I know you ain't got it. You about to stop. No, you ain't got that money. I'm telling you, you about to stop it. This is what I'm talking about, HP. I'm just here trying to look out for you. That's it. That's my only concern. Because if you don't survive, I don't survive. I'm in the same boat as you. I don't have no money. I'm not rich. I'm not on the high end of whatever it is that they want this city to look like. I'm on the low end. I'm on the bottom of the totem pole along with you, holding on for dear life. We have to pay attention here, HP. I can't fight this fight alone. I really can't. And as you see, I'm getting hit from every angle possible. According to them and according to the council president, I'm your problem here. No, I'm not. I'm not the problem here. All I want is for the rules to be followed and for the process to be adhered to. And that's not happening. And they can't tell me that they don't know the process. Again, she wrote this ordinance. She was a part of writing this ordinance. So please do not tell me that they don't know any better. No, they're counting on the fact that you don't know no better. That's what's going on here. So from this point on, I will make it my point. As I find information, I promise you, as God is my witness, I'm gonna share that information. I'm gonna share it ahead of time. I'm gonna put it on my Facebook page. I'm gonna highlight it, and anybody who wants to read it and know about what's going on in this city, you can have the right to do that. Because education is power. Once we know the game, it's very hard to play it afterwards. And that's just the truth about it, ladies and gentlemen. We have to survive here. If we don't survive here, we're not going to make it. They're going to take this city over, and you and I be standing on the outskirts looking in, talking about, I remember when I used to live there. We have to be careful here, ladies and gentlemen. And I commend those people who went up to Lansing. I think that what you did was very brave and very noble. And I hope it was very effective. Please forgive me for not being there. I was unable to make it. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I want is your survival. Your survival guarantees my survival. If you're here, then I can be here. If you're gone, I'm gone. And I don't want to leave. I like it here. This is my home. So again, as I always say, HP, I love you. I respect you, regardless of what the naysayers may say about I don't love you. I definitely love you. You mean more to me than anything. And I will continue to fight for your well-being, your survival, and your safety in this city. Thank you, HP.
Council President.
I got to pause you there, Madam Mayor. We need to finish with council affairs, please.
Mhm.
Know that I had to leave at 8 for a very important call.
Okay, so Council Pro Tem has left the meeting. Ms. Martin? Ms. Martin, if you would. Councilman Ashafi has left the meeting.
Hello, great evening, citizens, residents, and people of Highland Park. I'm gonna keep it brief. I know you guys have heard me doing a lot of coughing. I've been drinking a lot of water, so I had to go to the bathroom, and I had no idea how long Mr. Ashafi was going to be. So I didn't want to produce a golden puddle right here in this seat. With that being said, I just want to say thank you so very much for being out here, for those who are on Zoom. I also wanted to talk with the mayor. I know she said that we got to make appointments. I do have a resident that is wanting to do an event on Halloween, and he was looking for like 60 flyers. So I was curious on who do I talk to about that. With that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn it over to Manica. I'm even getting a little hot sitting right here. So go ahead, Manica.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. Ms. Manica, if you would.
No problem. Good evening, everyone. You're asking who do you talk to help or participate in the Halloween?
No. I got a citizen that wants to do a Halloween event.
Oh, on his
And
own,
he has
okay.
flyers that he wanted printed. And so then I was like, who do I talk to? Do I make an appointment for that? Like, how does that work?
Oh, I thought you were asking something else. So, guys, I just want to say good evening. Congratulations, young man, Kwame, on your acceptance to that commission. Also, well, most people came up and already gave their announcements. I guess what I'm thinking about is the development and a lot of the things that's happening in the city. And I know that maybe the mayor and maybe some of the counterparts think that we're being difficult, and maybe even some of the residents. It's not so much being difficult as is that we gotta stop taking the cart before the horse. I think I said that a little bit earlier. And so there's a lot of things that we need to accomplish beforehand. For example, the ordinance was brought up that there may be more than one copy of this, or people are interpreting wrong. Well, I'm not gonna keep sitting up here telling you that we've been here 8 months and that we don't know, because at this point, myself and my council members have got to sit down and work on these ordinances and work on the things that is causing this, as well as we have to have a CED department that maybe need a reboot. And maybe some other areas need a reboot. And that needs to be done before we can continue in this manner, because what's happening is everybody comes in, and the people who, I'm not saying anybody doesn't have the money, but the people who maybe really got the pockets, etc., to really do the building and make sure some stuff is happening and make sure that it's up to quality and standards, etc., are not coming to the table for the same fact that the mayor stood there and say they look and see what's happening at the council meeting, and they don't want to be part of it. And it's not just one person at this point, it's all of us. Okay, whether we can't stop it from happening or we're making it happening, or it's coming for the residents as well, who continue to come up with some of the same bitterness, or it happened before. Well, this is a new. And so the new says that everything from top to bottom has to be anew. You have to improve and get better. And for some reason, you guys won't let us. You will not let us. And it may not be who's sitting in the audience, but as a whole, you won't let us because you keep bringing us things. And then we're trying to appease you, or our administration is trying to appease you, versus just saying, not right now. Give us a minute. Let us look at this ordinance. Let us look at this charter. Let us finish the thing we're doing with GLEWA. How do you know that doesn't have an impact on what else is coming abroad? That's a lot of reason why a lot of developers are not here, to be honest with you, because they're waiting to see what's happening. So let's be realistic here. And I'm probably not even talking to everybody who's in the audience. It's probably the people that's looking and listening, from California to New York, from top to bottom and overseas. So understand that if I don't fix the problem first, it's going to still exist. It's going to continue. We're going to have the same problem we had before. Let it get fixed. What's the rush? If your project is that project, then it should pass anyway. You know, and you're not going to like everything we do. You're not. Okay, but keep in mind that things have to be fixed first. You come up and then we approve something, then somebody come back and tell us, oh, I'm gonna sue you. And I'm so tired of hearing that word. Because we didn't fix the plan. We didn't fix the book. We didn't fix the code. We didn't fix the law. There's a lot of things that has happened in Highland Park where things are owned and not owned, things are combined and owned. There's more than just saying, hey, say yes. So I'm not sure how anybody else is going to feel about that. But that's my plan for right now, guys, is to every workshop that we can have to fix something, that's what we're going to do. We're going to fix something. And then maybe it's easier for you to come before us. Maybe it's easier for the departments to work. The departments can't work with this continuing. You already know what each councilman is going to ask for. Y'all just sit up here and listen to it. But we can't keep blocking things or we won't ever have anything. But if you also come correct, and if we also do what we supposed to do and fixing some of the things instead of arguing about it, then we won't be in this situation. I love Highland Park. Love you. Don't want anybody to have to leave. But at the rate we going, we're going to push our own self out. Have a great night.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, I love the fact that it's 8 o'clock, so I'm gonna be brief. From this point on, my council affairs for every meeting from now until the end of the year is gonna focus on one thing: no more incompetence. And that includes myself. My father always taught me, when you point the finger, realize there are at least 3 fingers pointing back at you. So no more incompetence. Thank you, Ms. Manica, for pointing out the obvious, that people from all over the world are paying attention to Highland Park. Highland Park was not always a low-income city. In fact, it was the premier suburb in the United States of America. This was a wealthy community. Let's stop pretending like our current condition is the way that we are. I didn't move here 23 years ago because I thought this place was a dump. I'm not from Wisconsin, I'm from Detroit. So when I moved into Highland Park from where I was living, and I lived in a nice place downtown, I thought I was moving on up to get up in here with y'all. I thought I had made it. I was supposed to grow up at 94 Colorado. That was supposed to be the house I grew up in. My parents divorced, but that was supposed to be where y'all met me at, right on the corner of John R. in Colorado. It didn't happen. Okay, so when people talk about Parker pride, I want you to understand this city was not always majority low-income people. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road. Just a couple of days ago, the government almost shut down. And there was a store owner in Highland Park who said, if the government shuts down, I might go out of business, because there's so many people in Highland Park that use SNAP that it represented almost 90% of this man's revenues. What does that say about us? We're not bad people, but I'm saying if 90% of the people that shop at Glory are low income, if you're a business owner, we want people from Metro Detroit, from Greater Detroit. This has never been a community unto itself. This was always the capital of Detroit, not a separate city. You can't get no more in Detroit than to be in Highland Park and Hamtramck, my God. Okay, we the belly button of this region. You can't get no more in this area. So when we talk about development, as we move forward, We need to understand, we need to bring the people who can afford to pay our young people for those service jobs that are so valuable. They need to come here and live here. 48235 is the wealthiest zip code in Metro Detroit, right next door to us. And we are the poorest inside of this little area. We're the poorest, they're the richest. So we need to get some of them folks with a little bit of that bread to cross the line and for their children to live among us so that the services that they require, just like down in Brush Park, what happens if you live in the Cass Corridor, which they now call Midtown, and you lived in one of those low rent apartments and all of a sudden all of those developments came up around you. You got a better grocery store. You got better shops. You didn't have to change, but those amenities came to you, okay? I used to be downtown when I was in college. It looked like the scene from RoboCop. Now when I go down there with my family, it's unbelievable. It's like, hey, metropolitan Chicago or the outskirts of Boston or the outskirts of San Diego. It's a prosperous area. So we have to stop with the nonsense. We have to stop with the nonsense. If everybody in the room is poor and we need money, we need some folks with a couple of dollars to come in to pay taxes, to use services, and to help to raise all tides with their funds. They're not villains. They're the young people in your family that you say, what, go to school, get a college degree, make something of yourself and come back to the community. Where are they gonna live? Right now they have to live in Farmington or Southfield or someplace else. We need to build something for them to live in right now. Okay, my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, inaugurated their president. In that room full of all of those prominent men, at least a dozen men walked up to me when I was introduced as city council president and said, I'm from Highland Park. He's a successful businessman. They're from here. They have all said, we would love to repatriate. We would love to have somebody in our community or in our family move back to this town. And they got millennial and Generation Z kids. They want to live in a nice apartment. It's going to cost more than market rate. So we have to build for them. Market rate in Southeastern Michigan is about $1,500 a month. And no, that's not typical for the citizens in this community. But if you want to live downtown, if you want to live in Midtown, it's about $1,500 a month. We have to build something for them to live in. They want to be able to come to a nice coffee shop. They want to be able to go to boutique stores. We have to build that for them. So that has to change. This us versus them mentality, again, is very detrimental. It's not something that's indigenous to this region at all. If you're born and raised here, you know we all in this thing together. So that has to be a reality. So we should stop playing these mental jujitsu, trying to convince people that it's a us versus them, that somehow the poor people are going to be pushed out. Hell, them poor people need jobs. Who's going to provide them? Sad to say, but it's the Jeff Bezos and the Dan Gilberts of the world that are employing us. So we need to take that into consideration. As it relates to Ms. Ford, you might want to talk to Mr. Malone and ask Mr. Malone to come out and do a walkthrough with you. Reach out to him. He might be able to help motivate a little bit of goodwill, you know, if you get him out there. Last thing is, every year, the members of the Gamma Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated do Meals on Wheels for seniors around Metro Detroit. My frat brother, Scott Benson, James Tate, myself, Dr. Derek Coleman, the superintendent for River Rouge Schools, who educated a lot of your children when River Rouge was providing education for you. I could go on. There's a long list. Dennis Archer Jr., Judge Strong. We're all members of the fraternity. This year, one of our members is on his third event for doing Senior Fest. He did Bishop Moore. We're going to be doing Bishop Moore, LaBelle Towers, 2 senior citizens buildings in the center city of Detroit in Councilman Benson's district, and we'll find out which one we're going to be doing in Councilman Tate's district. We will be feeding seniors this Thanksgiving, and you will see a whole lot of black and gold jerseys all over the city of Highland Park. Service is what we do. So I hope you had a great night. It's a very short meeting. Thank the Lord for that. Having concluded all business related to the city of Highland Park, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. We have a motion to adjourn from Councilman Martin, seconded. All those in favor, say aye.